If you want to take your color grading to the next level, use this tool, Dehancer. I was given a free license of Dehancer and asked to give an honest review on it. I used it on a couple projects recently, and when I tell you, I was absolutely blown away. One of the projects that I used it on, it was Misery and Soulful Serenity, the 2 videos I posted. I'll show you the before and the after of what the footage looked like. I converted my footage using buttery LUTs, conversion LUTs, made my adjustments, and then added Dehancer onto the end of that. This is the log footage that came out of the camera, and then here is just the conversion LUT applied. From there, I made adjustments to the contrast, white balance, and color corrections. Then from there, I made HSL adjustments to bring out colors that I wanted to. That leaves you with pretty much like what normally I might have considered the final image. I apply Dehancer to the already colored image, and now it's more of a grade. What I used for this first video, Misery, is Fuji Color Pro 400H, and then I enabled expanding, print, and I used the 35mm ISO 50 film grain. Then I used the 65mm bloom, which just kind of like almost makes it feel like you were using a Pro Mist filter. Yeah, from there, the last thing I did was just turn down the total output of Dehancer so that it wasn't as strong. Then after the Dehancer node, I have a Sharpen Edges node, which I use to just bring back some of that like crispness to the image, but I lower the sharpen amount and the global blend down to like 60% and the sharpen amount to like 1.5, so that it's sharpening the edges but not noticeably. And then the last node that I do is another hue saturation light, in which I change around the hue and saturation curves and the hue versus hue curves and the luma versus saturation curves to get it closer to pure whites and blacks. And then also just to bring back the skin tone a little bit and to pop the greens a little bit. Because the Fuji Color Pro 400H took a little bit of the green down and dialed it back and changed the skin tones around a little bit, I use HSL to bring those back. So yeah, that's basically how I used it for Misery. For Soulful Serenity, I used the buttery LUTs, conversion LUTs with the +1 contrast to get it from the B-raw flat log profile into Rec 709. Then again, I make white balance adjustments just to correct the image. I took away a little bit of warmth, added a little bit of saturation. Then I adjusted the contrast of the image, literally bringing up the contrast, but then also making adjustments to the lift, gamma, and gain. Then hue saturation light, which in this case, I brought down the oranges, brought up the blues a tiny bit, and brought up the like red, pink, like the magentas, just a touch to make that pop, especially her outfit. And most of the time, that would be where I stop. Maybe add a little halation, add a little bit of grain, and I'd be done. But with Dehancer, it's able to like take that final image and then you can add just a little more character to it. For this one, I used the Kodak Ektachrome E100. Actually, what I did was I sat down, I was on a 5-hour flight to LA. I sat down and looked through all 63 film profiles and saw what it did to each of these videos. And then I took pictures of my favorite ones, and you can see that it just kind of like lifts everything up, brings the shadows out, but keeps the contrast, and I like what it does to the skin tones. I did use grain. I didn't use bloom or halation, so it's literally just like the film profile and grain. That was pretty much it for this one. Again, after that, I added a Sharpen Edges to bring back a little bit of that quality, and then another HSL, which I brought up the reds again a little bit and the blues a little bit again. Kept the skin tones the same. So yeah, that's how I used it for that video, the fashion editorial. The only negative thing I'd say about using Dehancer is it does slow down your computer significantly. Once you turn it on, it will not, for me, it will not run through that footage smoothly. I don't think I have any other negatives for Dehancer besides the fact that it just runs slowly, which makes sense for how much that it's doing. So taking a look at another shoot that I used Dehancer on, I wanted to shoot something that was on my RS3 Pro and my Blackmagic and just get like cinematic looking shots and just show off an outfit. So that's what we did. We went to a parking garage and we spent probably less than an hour shooting. This was probably one of my heaviest grades where I really leaned into like a stylistic look. So again, looking at the base image, that this is the log, then applying the conversion LUT, you can see it does do a lot. This is +2 contrast on the buttery LUTs. From there, I made contrast changes and adjusted, like brought up the highlights, brought up the gamma a little bit, and then brought down the lift a tiny bit and increased the contrast. Then in the next node, I did some hue and saturation changes. So I brought down yellows a tad, brought up blues a tad, and that was pretty much it. That's the base like Rec 709, just color corrected footage. I applied Dehancer, and for this one I used the Kodak Vision 3 250D. I also used 35mm 250 grain, and I did a custom halation for this one. I also did a custom bloom on this one, kept the output at 100, and yeah, and I just really loved how this ended up turning out. Just like a really moody look. I also did another version of an edit, just like a quick edit from this shoot, where I colored it completely differently. And in this case, I feel like it was a little closer to how I normally color, but I still love what Dehancer added. On this one, it is Prokudin Gorski 1906. I've never used this one before, and it's one of those that wasn't on my list. I didn't really like this when I looked through all 63 profiles, but ended up loving it for this. I also pushed it a little bit into like the negative, like -0.6. I have 35mm ISO 250 film grain. Then I did custom halation on this one as well, and the output is down to like 70. So yeah, those are the 4 videos that I used Dehancer on, and my experience was smooth. Again, the only thing that you could say is negative about it is that it runs slow on the computer and probably increases your export time, but literally great program. I recommend it to everyone. And now I am an affiliate partner with them, so if you want to use Dehancer or try it out, I do think they do free trials, but if you try it out and you're like, dude, I have to have it, use the code ThanksMo to get 10% off. Check it out, try it out, and let me know what you think. DM me, hit me up, comment, tell me if you use Dehancer, tell me what you think about it. If you already have used Dehancer, what are your thoughts? Like, do you love it? Peace. That was my first long YouTube video. Should I do this more? Y'all let me know. I don't know, it was weird. It's weird talking to the camera for this long. Making like a minute or 30-second video for Instagram is much easier. But let me know what y'all think. Maybe I'll make more.